How much time do you spend on your phone? How much of that time would you consider is time well spent? What would it look like to use your phone well? The best way to capture moments is to pay attention. This is how we cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness means being awake. It means knowing what you are doing. There's not a point in time I specifically have felt addicted to my phone, but there have been times when I find myself feeling overwhelmed and anxious, heart beating faster, feeling trapped responding from behind a screen, working overtime as a social media manager, and sustaining relationships with family and friends around the world makes for a lot of screen time, which is why I want to share a few things that have worked for me in hopes they may help you too. When I said using it well, this will of course be different for everyone. For me, using my phone well as a tool means keeping my tasks and events organized. Entertainment that makes me laugh or is educating, like new recipes, a craft or workout, creating for work and fun, and keeping in touch with loved ones. Get an alarm clock. Don't let your phone be the first thing you see or touch in the morning, and the same goes for at night. Not only does the blue light and activity stimulate our brain, but most of the time, I think we can be honest with ourselves and realize we don't really need to be on our phone. If you need to use your phone for work, try to keep as much of your work on your computer, if possible, of course. For example, you can create separate email accounts for both personal and work, maybe even an email address, or when you sign up for accounts and other things we might categorize more as junk so it doesn't get mixed into your personal emails and life. Airplane mode might be my most used feature on my phone. When you're doing deep work, wanting to focus on a task at hand, or just want a break, I recommend putting your phone on airplane mode. If you're hesitant because you might have loved ones who could call for an emergency, you can always use Do Not Disturb mode. Your favorited contacts can still call you in case of an emergency. Turn off notifications. You don't need to feel guilty for leaving any notifications on or off. I would recommend taking the time to go through each one and choose the settings for the notifications. For example, if you want to keep the notifications on, go through and choose which notifications specifically you want to be taking the time to see and receive. If it's not something urgent or it feels like something that is stressing you, turn it off and only check that app when you would like to. Which brings me to my next point. Respond when and if you feel like it. Our phones make us available 24/7, or so it seems. Although people might be able to send us messages or comments, it does not mean that they have direct access to you all of the time. Whether you're busy or just don't feel like responding to messages, you can choose when to respond and if you would like to do so. As I do enjoy sharing my life and learnings on social media, something I love to do is to auto-publish. 95% of the time, if you've seen me share something on social media, it has been scheduled and auto-published, so I don't have to take the time to sign on and actually publish a photo. The same goes for stories. I think it's great to keep our families and friends updated or share our day and what we're learning, but if it feels more of a task or chore, remember you do not have to. No one is obligating you to post. But if you enjoy sharing on stories but want to live a little more in the moment, you can always share your stories later. Living in a different time zone than many of my loved ones, I have found that scheduling calls has been a great way to make sure we have time together on the calendar and allow us to cut out the back and forth messages that neither of us may have time for. If you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed with messaging or calls or anything to do with your phone really, remember that you can tell your loved ones how you feel. If you're feeling stressed, sad, or any unwanted emotion, turn it off, put it away, and get outside or go do an activity that you really enjoy. Here are some tips that I've heard repeatedly that I don't personally do, but I think could help someone out there. If you found these tips helpful, I think you would love to download my free graphic with reminders, tips, and a few journal prompts to help get you thinking about ways that could help you more mindfully use your phone.